welcome to another Lone Wolfer Garage Moto Vlog. I am cruising along the Connecticut shore. Specifically, I am looking out over Long Island Sound from Madison, Connecticut. But I wanted to bring you another creepy story from some of my adventures. Specifically, I wanted to talk about a house down on Route 1 in Clinton, Connecticut. When I first moved back to Connecticut in 2011, I went over to visit a couple of my buddies at the house that I'm living in now. My friend Brian says, "Hey man, I want you to look at this picture." And the picture comes up, and I immediately saw something that did not seem quite right in the photograph. The photograph was posted by a woman that Brian and I had graduated from high school with. Specifically, the picture was from Memorial Day, the parade in Clinton down Main Street, of a few of the girls that we graduated with that were all in the same brownie troop. In the background, there is a house, and in the doorway, there is what looks like the image of a man trapped between the screen door and the main door of the house. After having gone to the house and looked at the door in question, there is only about 4 inches of space there, and that man could not have been trapped there. But it was obvious that was why Brian was showing me the photograph. We are friends with the woman who posted the picture, and we reached out to her and, pointed out that there was an odd feature about this photograph, and then she was like, "Yeah, we saw that too." And we asked her if she had the original or a negative maybe. And she told us, she had gone and looked through a bunch of photographs at her parents' house and saw that in a box and took a picture of it, posted it on Facebook. And sadly, the box of pictures disappeared. She was not able to find them. But this did not stop our interest in that particular house. It has not stopped our interest in that particular house. I do have to say that the family who owns it has not been responsive to our interest. They have not been cooperative in letting us actually go in the house, take any more photographs. But there was a day where we happened to have an opportunity I took full advantage of. We were actually at the Historical Society in Clinton. That happens to be right near that house. I saw that there was some construction going on there. And I said, "Brian, let's go over and talk to him." And he's like, "I don't know if it's a good idea." And I'm like, "Fuck that, it's a great idea." I went over and I started talking to the one of the contractors. Happened to be a woman, and she's like, "Yeah, I run this company, and I'm friends with the folks who own this house, and I'm doing some renovations before they come back up here for the 4th of July weekend." And I was like, "Oh, okay, so they don't live here full time?" And she's like, "No." And I tell the lady I have a few very specific reasons why I'm interested in the house, being a little vague at first until she said, "Oh, do you think it's haunted or something?" And I go, "Maybe, why?" And she goes, "Oh, do you want to go take a look around and then, talk more about it afterwards?" And I go, "Seriously, I can go look around?" And she's like, "I don't think they'd have a problem with that." Oh, we're going to go take a little ride through Hammonasset here to finish this story. So I was very, very grateful that she was going to let me in, but I was still a little hesitant because, the folks who actually own the house weren't the ones granting me entrance or permission. But she was like, no, go take a look around and, make sure that you go all the way up to the 3rd floor, because we converted the attic into a couple of bedrooms for the kids. And Brian and I are like, "Yeah, this is awesome. Let's fucking do this." So we go walking around the house, and we happen to have an EMF detector with us, and we had our cell phones to take some photographs. And we're walking around the 1st floor, and then we go up to the 2nd floor, and we're walking around, and then we walk up to the 3rd floor, and it was formerly an attic, and the center room was pretty large, and it had basically a walk-up stairs that opened to just a hole in the floor, and there was a rail around that. there was a rear room and a front room, and the front room had this window that overlooks Route 1. And I was like, oh, I'll go into that room second. Let's go look at the rear room first. And we go into the rear room, and there is a weird feeling. It's got an energy. It's not a friendly energy. It's not a happy-go-lucky, have fun energy. It was definitely the kind of energy you get, like, you know, before a storm. It was off. And then we go into the front room, and this is when Brian just goes, I don't really feel very good, and runs down the stairs. And the hair on the back of my neck is standing up, and I'm just like, this is kind of weird in here. I'm not sure if I like this either. And I'm looking out the front window, and the hair on the back of my arms is standing up. Oh, road closed. I can't go down there, huh? I guess we'll just go around the circle again and go down there. So after all my weird tingly feelings that are a little awkward, I walk downstairs. And I come downstairs, and I go out the back, because I thought Brian had gone out the back door. And she goes, oh, hey, so, you know, what'd you think of upstairs? And I go, it's an interesting house. She's like, no, like, what, did you feel anything weird? Anything weird happen? And I go, why? And she goes, well, I saw your friend come running downstairs, and this is when Brian actually comes walking out the back door. And she goes, the reason I'm, you know, doing some work on the house is because the kids don't like their bedrooms being up there. So I'm redoing some rooms down here so that they don't have to sleep up there. And she goes, I actually don't like going up there myself. And I go, huh, interesting. And she goes, yeah, it's real interesting. Actually, I'm on the street. And I go, we are actually interested in this house because of a picture that one of our friends from high school shared of her brownie troop in one of the parades for Memorial Day in the 80s, probably 86, 87. And we're trying to find out if anybody knows this man. And she goes, yeah, that's a ghost, when I showed her the photograph. And I go, that's what I said too. That's what we all think. And my friend Brian just has this like stark white, you know, look on his face. He's very pale. She goes, hey, do you guys want to go down to the basement? And I'm like, oh yeah. So we go downstairs, and this house, very typical of the time, has a dirt floor, has a central chimney that the house is built around. When we got down there, and we took a couple photographs while we were down there, we were talking to the lady, chatting, not really anything serious. And then we were like, oh, you know, thank you for all that, and I'm curious if you can give my information to the owners of the house. And she took my card, and she said she'd pass it on. And sadly, I never heard anything from them. But when we got home, we were looking at the photographs, and in some of the photographs, one in particular, it looks like in the corners of the room that there is fog. And there was no fog when we were down there. I have done some research, and I have found that a man in his early 50s did pass away that lived there. That could be the gentleman who is still hanging out at that house because he doesn't want to move on. But I won't make I won't jump to any conclusions on that one, as I can't prove that ghosts exist, and we have no real concrete evidence of any kind other than the definite change in our senses and the tingling of our skin, and my friend Brian's actual like loss of energy and feeling well while being in the house, specifically in that front room upstairs in the attic. And that house still holds our interest. Hope that maybe someone one day will buy it who will be more receptive to us actually exploring more of the history of the house, and maybe even more open to investigation of the paranormal variety by us or someone else. I think it would be a lot of fun and has a great deal of potential to show us some very interesting and unique and hard to explain phenomena. But yeah, that's my spooky story for today. And if you have any of your own spooky stories, I would love to hear them down in the comment section below. And if you liked this particular vlog, maybe give it a like. And if you have not subscribed, I would love it if you would follow along with my wacky adventures and crazy stories. Alright guys, go out there and tell some spooky tales. Rock on.